Pueblo Hall of Fame was established to honor those individuals who, by their extraordinary efforts, have contributed to the betterment and enhancement of Pueblo.
The inductees this evening are so deserving, and without a doubt, each and every one of them play an important role in the community, in the vibrance of our community, and I particularly am so appreciative because each and every one of them appreciate and recognize the value of an education.
The one thing I'm really proud of is, as a plant manager, is a manufacturing town, is we also, as a company of currently 20 people, we have a Department of Labor approved apprenticeship program. Why? Because PCC said yes. We also, every one of our employees during their first year will go through 40 hours of off-site training. Why? Because PCC said yes. Finally, PWAC chains last 40 times longer than Chinese imported chains. Why? Because no, it's because we got 500 years of experience and we know what we're doing. I hope that collectively that we can convince those that think Pueblo has nothing to offer can actually point at the community college as one of those guiding lights and as something that's really to aspire to, and it gives people great opportunities.
Okay, it's time to introduce our new inductees, starting with Jane Rawlings from the Pueblo Chieftain.
I'm so proud to carry on the family tradition of helping to raise funds for the PCC Foundation. And I'm also proud of President Patty, her team for making this school a perfect fit for Pueblo, an opportunity to get a local associate's degree or a certificate in a variety of professions that are in demand for jobs that pay well and have upward mobility. One of the things I enjoy most is being able to hear and interact with the students. Every year I try to attend the reception for scholarship students to meet the donors. I always am impressed with their stories and the impact their time at PCC has on their lives. Rarely do I talk to a student who hasn't had some challenges. And that scholarship money to help them achieve their dream of a better future is incredibly appreciated. It is in this spirit that I thank all of you for joining myself, Jack Quinn, Michael Salardino, and my shirt tail relatives. Where are you guys? Hi. Hi. Erna Marie and Hank Williams kids, Lisa, Eleanor, and Richard, in this delightful evening. It is truly for the city of Pueblo and the students that go to college here. Thank you.
I've known Jack for a long time. Shared some beer together at some of Pueblo's better establishments. I think Jack probably still does that.
The PCC Foundation, Tony Fortino called me many years ago, probably 30-something years ago, and he asked me, Jack, I would like you to serve on the PCC Foundation. I had no idea what it was or what they did, and I said, yes, sir. If you need I spent 20-something years on there, thanks to Tony. I actually served on the committee of the electors that used to do this back in, I think the first one was 91. I was on the board when we created it. And I never at the time thought when I was on that I ever would be up here with that group that we were nominating in those days. Maybe they lowered the standards, I don't know. You know, you mentioned the Housing Authority and your mom, and it is great. You drive down the highway, you see Monroe Palace Tower there by the interstate, the Vale Hotel, Sacred Heart Orphanage, Central Grade School, Rood Candy Building, the 200 block of Santa Fe across from the Art Center. That was stuff that we did, among many other things. That was fun. We had a great time. But you know, I had a great staff, and I got paid to do that. But I think the thing that I'm more impressed with or proud of is the nonprofit stuff that I did, the stuff you didn't get paid for, because I got paid for doing that other stuff. I went to Sacred Heart, or to St. Francis Grade School, Bishop, Sacred Heart High School, Fairfield University, a Jesuit school in Connecticut. When I graduated from there with a degree in chemistry, and I did not teach chemistry in grade school, that was an error, let me tell you that. I taught 3rd grade, not chemistry. But I was a diocesan volunteer for the Diocese of Pueblo, and I taught at Sacred Heart Cathedral here in Pueblo. That's how I got here, and 53 years later, I'm still here. So maybe because of all that upbringing, my dad, the things he did, the religious education I had, maybe I was imbued with the concept of do the right thing.
Upon hiring him, said, Michael, here's the deal. All of the big radio stations in the major cities, the disc jockeys all have 3 names, and the staff here has come up with a name for you. You're going to be Bobby John Hancock. Mike said, are you kidding? No, Bobby John Hancock. Ain't no way I'm doing that. I said, well, I'm the boss. You're going to be called Bobby John Hancock. No, that's not the deal. And it wasn't the deal. He announced under the name of Michael Salardino, not Bobby John Hancock. He stood up for his ethnic heritage, his name, very proud of it, and I was very proud of you, Michael, for the way you handled it.
Shame on any of us if we do what we do because of the honor and glory. That's not why we should do it. In my case, in Bishop, I was going to say this even before I knew you were here. I am charged to do it by my Catholic faith, and my Catholic faith tells me one thing: to love my neighbor. Okay, you can look it up. It's in the Bible, 3 different places. Okay. And it says with all your heart, all your mind, all your strength, and all your soul, which means to do it with excellence, okay? So if you put meat on the bone, what does love mean? It's not a kissy smoochy thing like in the movies and the records. It is defined, I think, by Bishop Robert Barron, one of my heroes, as wanting good for the other and doing good for the other. To me, that is the mission statement. That's why we were put here, and that's what I hope all of us do. The last thing I'd like to say is that this does not belong to me alone. I'm going to quote my Uncle Frank, who came here from Las Vegas and surprised me, which means that what I'm going to say about him has to be true now, because he's actually here. And my Aunt June, my uncle said this when he was inducted into the Nevada Sports Hall of Fame: I stand on the shoulders of many. And first of all, I stand on the shoulders of my incredible parents, Georgie and Gina Salardino, who've been gone far too long. But they taught my brother Bobby, my sister Mary Jo, and I one thing. Well, they taught us a lot of things, but the biggest thing they taught us was to love. And that was by example. And anybody who knew them, and I still hear stories to this day about how much they loved. They were who their families looked to. They were who their friends looked to. They were just always there for everybody. And we saw that, okay? And I can never, ever replace that example that they set for me. And then, of course, last but not least, my friends. And I just mentioned some of them, but I want to mention a couple more who are like my everyday friends. And I know I'm going to get in trouble because the good Lord has blessed me with, I don't know why, but amazing friends. But Frank Sagona, who's like a brother to me. Almost every day I talk to him. I have to remind him where he needs to be that day, but he's just like a great brother to me. And then, of course, the 2 ladies I get to work with and their families, Janelle Chorak and Maria Hughes. So I am just extremely blessed, I am extremely grateful, and like Jack said, I am grateful for just a great life. Thank you very much.
Hank and Erna Marie Williams, and almost everybody in the room remember Hank and Erna Marie. I first met Erna Marie as she was teaching at the time, I believe, later became a member of the school board, but very active in politics and knowledgeable. Hank I knew dating back to the Arkansas Valley Bank. I think that's he was president of that before it was acquired by United. But two really solid citizens of Pueblo. They're being inducted tonight posthumously.
Well, as my father would say, it's past his bedtime, and I'm sure past many of yours, but thank you tonight. This is quite an honor. You know, our story started with my grandfather, who came to Pueblo as a place of opportunity, the Arkansas Valley Bank, and went on with my mother and father who loved this community. And what they loved about it was Pueblo's sense of place. I don't know if you realize how wonderful it is. You have water, plenty of water, thanks to Bob Rawlings. And you have a beautiful community. Lots of people who care about each other, care about education, care about civic events, art, the environment. My parents felt so deeply and strongly about this community. I just can't say enough, and I know that from heaven, they're looking down and they know all of the friends, all of you whose lives they have touched and whose lives touched theirs. It mattered so much to them. They cared so much for this community. And I have to say thank you on behalf of my siblings who are here, and we'd like to present you with a gift, because we feel that this community is so very special. And yes, I did go to Central.